So today I'm going to start off by showing you guys all the parts for this activity. This is the battery chassis. The black wire is for ground, which is negative, and the red wire is for positive. This is the breadboard that we'll be using. You can see that the columns are positive and negative, which is for our power, and there's also a column of numbers, and there's rows of letters to easily indicate where we are going to put each item. These are wires, which is how current will flow through the different items that we'll be inserting into the breadboard. Next up is our LED light. You can see that the prongs are two different lengths, and we'll talk about that later. Next, we have our button, which is going to give us the ability to turn our LED light on or off. And this is our resistor, which will limit our amount of current that will be flowing. So now we're going to go ahead and start our activity. We're going to start off by grabbing our battery chassis and basically plugging in our red wire into the positive column. And you can see that I'm just going to put it into the first one. It doesn't necessarily matter, but I'm going to put it in the first one. And then after that, we're going to take our black wire, which is our ground, and we're going to stick that into our negative column. Our next step is going to be to take our button, and you can see that at the bottom there are two prongs, and we're going to be placing them into H1 and H3. Since this is our first step, we can place the button anywhere we would like, but after this, we will be placing the rest of our pieces for our activity based on where we've placed our button. Now we will be taking one of our wires, and it doesn't matter what length, and we will be giving our button power. So we're going to do this by putting one of the prongs in F1, since one of the prongs for the button was also in row 1. We're going to take the other end of the wire, and we're going to give it power by putting it in the positive column. So next up, we're going to be placing our resistor in our breadboard. It doesn't matter which way you place it in, but it does matter where you put it in. So one of our prongs is going to go into column J, row 3, because we put one of our prongs for our button in row 3. Hang in there, we're almost done. So now that we have our resistor in, we can put our LED in. So I mentioned before that the length matters, and there's one prong that is longer than the other. We're going to be putting the longer prong in row 9 because that's where one of the resistor's prongs was. Notice where I'm pointing. That is where we are going to put our LED light in because that is where we put one of our ends of our wire in. So that's how the LED is going to get power. You made it! This is our last step. So we're going to take our wire and place one end in row 10. Keep in mind this is where one of the ends, the shorter end of the LED light is placed. We're going to take the other end of the wire and put it on the negative column to ground it. And that's it, you're all done. Once you press your button, your LED should light up.